You wake up, and the first voice you hear is not yours. It is a sentence, half formed, automatic, already judging you. And you call that me. This is the first mistake. Because you do not control your thoughts. If you did, you would never think something embarrassing in the middle of a meeting. You would never replay a conversation from 7 years ago while trying to sleep. You would never imagine worst-case scenarios while brushing your teeth like a psychopath rehearsing a disaster that will never happen. Thoughts arrive, uninvited, unfiltered, unethical, brilliant, stupid, beautiful, violent, random. You don't choose the next thought any more than you choose the next car that passes outside your window. But here is where your real power and your real suffering begins. You don't suffer because you think, you suffer because you believe your thought is you. That is the collapse, that is the trap, that is the birth of anxiety, anhedonia, depression, and the slow suffocation of personality. You were never supposed to control your mind, you were supposed to observe it. Your mind produces content the way your lungs produce breath, constantly, mechanically, without asking for permission. Imagine waking up and trying to control every breath manually. That is what you are doing with your thinking, and you are exhausted. Because somewhere along the way you were taught a catastrophic lie. Your thoughts define you. Your thoughts define you. No. Your relationship to your thoughts define your entire quality of life. This is metacognition, thinking about thinking. Not the sexy productivity version, but the existential one. The ability to notice. This is thought, not a command, not a prophecy, not my identity. Right now your brain generates the thought, I'm behind in life. And instead of seeing it as a neural weather, a temporary pattern, you turn it into a courtroom evidence, comparison, self-attack. The thought becomes a personality, and then you wonder why you feel heavy. You are carrying sentences as if they are concrete. Here is the brutal part. Believing that thoughts are dangerous is what makes life emotionally flat. Because if thoughts are dangerous, you will try to suppress them. And when you suppress your thoughts, you suppress your feelings. When you suppress feeling, you suppress aliveness. That is anhedonia, not sadness, not pain, absence, colorless existence. Nothing tastes intense. Music becomes background noise. Sex becomes mechanical. Success feels like a spreadsheet. You don't feel bad. You don't feel. Because you turned your mind into a maximum security prison. No negative thoughts allowed. But the brain does not work like that. It works like an algorithm trained on everything you have ever experienced. So when you label certain thoughts as forbidden, your mind does what every system does under restriction. It loops. Louder. More intrusive. More aggressive. Now you think you're broken. You're not. You are at war with a function that was designed to be free. Here's the shift, and it is violent when you first see it. A thought that says, I'm a failure, is not suffering. Believing it is. Arguing with it is. Trying to delete it is. Building your identity around not having it is. That is suffering, because now your entire life becomes thought management. You are no longer living. You are moderating a comment section inside your skull. And every time a bad thought appears, you panic, which trains your brain to produce more of them. Congratulations. You built a self-surveillance system. This is why the smartest people often feel the most trapped. High intelligence plus low metacognition equals infinite overanalysis. You don't have a thinking problem, you have a fusion problem. You are fused with mental content. You sit inside the movie and you call it reality. Metacognition is stepping into the cinema. The movie is still playing, but now you're watching. And this changes everything. Because once you see a thought as an event instead of an identity, it loses its dictatorship. The sentence, "no one cares about you," appears, and instead of emotionally collapsing, something in you says, "Interesting. That's brain trying to protect me through social threat simulation." Same thought, zero suffering. This is not positive thinking. This is not affirmation. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is cognitive sovereignty. And here is the shocking part. Your creativity, your confidence, your charisma, your ability to love, all of it returns the moment you stop trying to purify your mind. Because life is not on the other side of perfect thinking. Life is on the other side of not taking thoughts personally. Look at children. Their minds are chaos. They imagine death, monsters, flying, being a dinosaur, becoming a superhero within 10 seconds. They don't get depressed because they don't identify with the content. Thought passes, they move. That is psychological health, fluidity. You lost that when you started auditing your own mind for moral correctness and productivity. Not every thought is a performance review, so you become careful, then rigid, then numb. You say, "I just want peace of mind," but what you actually mean is, "I want a mind that only produces approved content." That is not peace, that is censorship. And censorship kills vitality. The goal is not a quiet mind. The goal is a mind that is loud without controlling you. A storm you can walk through. Because here is the final brutal truth. You will never reach a point where intrusive thoughts stop. Never. But you can reach a point where they are irrelevant. Like notifications from an app you no longer use. Still there, no emotional charge. This is freedom, not control, not silence, relationship. Your mind is a storyteller. Metacognition is realizing I'm not this story. I am the space in which the story appears. And suddenly, you can think anything and still feel okay. That is invincibility. Not because the mind is clean, but because you're no longer inside it. So the next time a dark thought appears, and it will, don't fight it. Don't analyze it. Don't fix it. Just notice. The brain produced a sentence and continue living because your life was never supposed to be a debate with your own cognition. Your life was supposed to be an experience. And the moment you stop trying to control the content of your mind, you start changing your relationship to it. Color comes back. Music hits again. Food tastes alive. You laugh without monitoring yourself. Not because the thoughts are gone, but because you are finally free from them. You don't control your thoughts. You control whether you kneel to them. And that changes everything. My name is Sinai Lee, and in this channel I'll be talking about a brutalist view of life, universe, and everything. So if you're interested, please like and subscribe. Thank you.